Voices Radio.
I wanna know what's left of us. I wanna know if there's a chance. 'Cause in the night there's a touch. Do you want us tonight? How about we take it slowly? How about you get to know me? How about you take the night and take your time?
Like I said, I'm here on my special guest, Cruz. How we doing?
Hello. I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's been a very long time since I've seen you.
Has,
It's like a catch up in personal friendship, but also lovely to have you on the show.
I know, it's really good to see you.
How's your day been?
It's been good, busy, tired,
Yeah.
but I'm excited.
Fair.
You know?
Good.
Just
good.
brought my energy back up.
No doubt. That's what we like to hear. So obviously, welcome to Voices. Welcome to the Club of Vibes. I've been meaning to get you on for quite a while now.
I know,
But
it's finally happened.
Everyone's been busy. So obviously I know who you are and I know what you do. I don't know everything actually, hence why I brought you on to learn more. So that was La Noche I just played. And it's going back a bit, innit? It's what, that 2021?
Yeah,
2021. Yeah.
Long time.
Yeah, and we're here to really celebrate your new single slowly.
Yeah.
And you're dropping the music video this Friday.
It is music video coming out Friday, so
Amazing.
Super excited to get that one out.
Amazing. So I'm going to start with like the really general questions. I'm
Sure.
just going to try and cover every dynamic side to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So starting with, how did it all start? So where did you grow up? Where was you born?
Oh, okay. So I was born and raised in Guildford.
Okay.
So here in the UK, but both my parents are Colombian.
Okay.
And yeah, no, I grew up really close to my culture. Like
Yeah.
my mum didn't let us speak English at home.
Oh, man, okay.
It was definitely like raised around. I have two older siblings, so
Yeah.
a lot of music like influences there.
Nice.
So yeah, always connected to my roots, but yeah, I grew up here in the UK. I'm also like, that's why, even though like I'm fully Colombian, like I think it's a different experience being like a British Colombian to like a full.
Yeah. And not only that, you're a
Colombian.
British Colombian.
Yeah.
Most British Latinos that I talk to that are musicians are London based.
Yeah.
So when I speak to a lot of them, they will say that where they grew up in London had an influence on their music.
Yeah.
Usually like rappers, like even myself, like I'll say, grime was a big influence and whatnot. And even just the environment that you're raised in. Guildford, even though it's got its own respectable music scene and whatnot, you got a big big music uni there, you got a few venues. Do you feel that kind of environment, because it's a nice place, or did it? Like, because I don't know Guildford, so is it just a bunch of indie kids and maybe that influenced your music rather than if you grew up in like, I grew up like
so.
Southeast London and that kind of-
Probably. You know what? I haven't actually thought about it in that way, but now that you say it, like, yeah, you know, like we have a few music venue spaces and like we've got ACM there, which is like where Ed Sheeran went. So it was very like, it wasn't as multicultural as like, you know, London is. So it was very much like pop, alternative, indie music. But I think like luckily I did grow up with a very like culturally aware family. So my brother did listen to a lot of garage growing up, and then my sister was definitely like into her, you know, early old school like R&B and stuff like that. So I didn't really have like a set genre that I would always listen to. As my music taste is incredibly eclectic. And I think like I drew inspiration from sort of everywhere, and then eventually found out where my sound laid, and then
I guess, was your route into music, because a lot of people start music independently and start doing their own thing, where it's like myself, I was recording in my bedroom and that sort of old, like quite a classic story kind of thing. But then you get some people who went the more educational route. You know what I mean, they might have learned an instrument and went to like, I don't know, the Brit School or something similar.
Yeah.
What kind of route did you take? And the reason why I asked that, and I will get into it a bit later, is because I know you do a lot of things, whether it's creative directing, where it's like branding, where you do a bunch of stuff, which most artists are like, I make music and there's a team around me that does that.
Yeah.
Whereas I can see that you're developing skills and all of those things and got a hand in a few projects. So was it a thing that you crafted independently, or was it more of an educational route? Or?
I think like, I don't know. I feel like I've always been like the black sheep of my family that can't like stay in a box.
Fair.
Like I've always had to like, you know, experiment with so many different things. And in my perception is still like life is so worth living. Like there's so many incredible things that you can experience. Like why wouldn't I try and like learn as many skills as I can? But my route into music was sort of like my main background. My dad put me into music and drama as soon as he could. So he bought me a piano when I was like 6. Him and my mum bought me a piano. I went into lessons, but I couldn't do it like that. I couldn't do a structured way. So I like improvised and made my own songs like from really young. But I had a main focus in like acting. So I kind of in school and then college, and then I did like music and drama GCSE and then A level, and then from there went to drama school. That didn't really work out, so I sort of like found a route into music, and the way that I fell into music was actually a bit crazy, but I've done it all like independent. We can touch on that in a minute.
But I guess you know, when you just said it didn't work out, I guess it did in a way, because if you hadn't had those experiences, you wouldn't have learned that one, that's not for you. Do you know what I mean? And you would have just not, because there's a lot of people that would have said, no, I've got to stick to it because, like you said, like your parents got you into it, and that pressure of like, I don't want to let them down, so let me stick at it. And then you might have started your music career a lot later. Not too late, there's never too late, but you might have not made the progress that you have now. And
for sure.
Do you know what I mean? So
I think everything happens when it's supposed to. So 100%, like all the lessons that you learn, like you get taught them at the right moment. And I think I'm where I'm supposed to be right now. But I'm grateful for everything. And my parents have always been super supportive of everything that I did. So that I was very, very blessed in that regard.
One thing that interests me a lot about your craft is a lot of the artists I interview are solely, you know, performers, recording artists. And I don't know many people that have dabbled in publishing. So like, this isn't about me, but from early on, I've done a bit of publishing. I've had a few publishing deals, a few sync deals. And when I explained that to people, I was kind of shocked about how many people, not even in the UK Latin music scene, but just in the music scene in general, up and coming artists, how there was a lack of knowledge about, you know, publishing and points on a song and what it is to write for other people and whatnot. So obviously you're good with a pen. I know that. So break down how, and you can tell me some of the, because I know, but I don't want to speak your story. Some of the opportunities and some of the stuff that you've written for people and some of the stuff that you've worked on, because I think when people hear collaboration, they always think it's going to be like you're going to hear two voices on the track. And the irony that Lissy's here, and I'm actually here to play some of her tracks and talk about it. But it's like a full circle that she's here. So yeah, Lissy Tigra's in the building. I didn't plan this, but I wanted to touch on that. Also, you wrote a song for a Facebook campaign, and I think it's important that it's not just about making a commercial song. Like, you've actually made stuff for like Facebook, which is like no one, I don't know anyone that's got it on their CV. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, tell us about how those opportunities came about.
I think what a lot of people like don't really know about me is that my main passion and focus is actually in the writing aspect. Like, I love to be in the studio. I love writing for other people. I love like just, you know, being able to express myself creatively, but with other people's stories as well. So that is kind of like, I kind of fell into writing. I was in a studio session that was originally for me, but then another artist came in and then they were struggling, and then I suggested something and they were like, and they recorded it and it worked out perfectly. And then I just started like, they started referring me to other people.
Amazing.
And then I was like, I guess I'm a writer now. And I just started I was like, I'm a songwriter. And then people trusted that, and I trusted myself in that. And I was very lucky to get these sync opportunities, which I love doing sync. I love following a brief. Like, if a company like approaches me with a brief, like I got the Facebook campaign, but those are all like competitive briefs. So I did one recently for Samsung as well. I did one for Just Eat. But though it's very hard to get those through, but the more that you do it, the more likely you are to get them. So I love it, and I want to continue doing it, and it's an incredible experience. And obviously, like, I've written for my bestie Lissy Tigra, who's in the building. Shout out Lissy. And that's been that's how we developed our friendship, actually. Like, I started off as one of her writers, and she was incredible enough to like trust me with her project, and you know, she let me in on her vision, and we developed an incredible friendship from that. And like, just the more people that you meet, the more they see you and your artistry, and the more they're like, you know what, I trust you with my project. And that to me is like so humbling, and I have so much gratitude for it, because it's like your lyricism, your art is so personal, and to let other people into it can sometimes be quite like a
definitely
fragile experience. And
it's a very vulnerable thing to do. I guess it is an extremely vulnerable thing to do, because a lot of artists won't, and they're almost like an enigma. They're just mysterious, and they'll be like,
Yeah.
no, I'm not sharing anything until it comes out, kind of thing. Which I get that's some people's personalities as well. I think one thing that you said there about the creative, working on creative briefs and the challenges, and I get it, because you get sent a brief, but they send it to how many people, and everyone's trying to. But in saying that, it's probably a challenge that's worth doing, because you're going to learn so much. And I mean, in a sense that you might get a brief that's about something that you've never experienced, you have no relation to, but then to challenge yourself with trying to create something that's substantial and worth of that, is going to help you, like in all aspects of collaboration, and even with your own music. It's almost like therapy. I mean, music is therapy, but I guess that's like an extreme way of doing it.
I feel like sometimes it's like you can get yourself into like a character and sort of act. So I kind of bring all my passions into. That's
what I mean. Does the drama help? Like learn, because I guess you learn scripts and that, and you do like monologues and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, even when like my drama really helped in terms of like my performance side of things. So I'm a nervous performer, but I would use like my acting technique to just be like, I'm just performing. Like it's just an acting performance, and that's why I think people, when they see me sing, they're like, oh, she's so like into it, she's like singing what the words are actually saying. And it's just because, you know, like I am feeling it, but luckily like I have that background to have a bit more confidence on the stage. But yeah, my favorite place is the studio for sure.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, with that said, and she's in the building, so I'm going to play Lizzie Tigra Dímelo.
Hey!
Ocho. It's 3 in the morning. I've been waiting, but nobody's calling. Pick up the phone, hear the ringing. Knock at my door and let you in. Oh, baby, dímelo. ¿Qué vas a hacer? Esta noche queda tu piel. Yo sé que te quiero enloquecer. Ya después desaparecer. Entonces dímelo. No vas a poder quitarme un olor de tu piel. Yo sé que te quiero enloquecer. Dímelo. ¿Qué vas a hacer? Like a sprinter, love is running through my veins. The way you make me feel got me racing in your lane. Push with these words, let me show you how it tastes. Got me feeling like endless.
Yes, people, if you just joined us, that was Lizzie Tigra with Dímelo. And I just found out a fun fact that Katie worked on that one. Well, I had a hunch. I do plan these things to an extent.
I love that song so much. I was so excited when you played it. Yeah, me and Lizzie we just randomly went into her beautiful studio and decided to, you know, jam, and then we came up with Dímelo. Like we put on a beat and both like collaborated so beautifully together, like with the lyrics, the melodies, and it just flowed. And then Dímelo exists now. Oh yeah, and then we like straight afterwards, like Lisa was like, how about we make a video? And then we just collaborated on an idea. Amazing. Worked with an incredible production company. Shout out Gab, shout out Da, Follow the Light, and then we made a video for it. So go watch Dímelo and stream.
Amazing. And following up from that, and I always ask this to a lot of artists that I know that have collaborated with friends or mutual friends, because you're both artists in your own right, but you both have the goal to be successful artists and you work together. However, I guess is there a sense of like a competitive nature? So you even make a better song. Do you know what I mean? Because you're both, like, how can I put this? I guess when it comes to rap music, every rapper is trying to like outdo each other. Like everyone's, kind of thing. Like, and it makes great music. Do you know what I mean? Would you say when you collaborate, is it a similar thing, or is it more of a thing that, no, I'm fully supporting this project and I want their project to be the best thing ever?
Yeah, no, I don't feel competitiveness in me. And that's funny that you touch on that, because we had a conversation on this because someone asked us a similar question. And I think our artistry is completely different. And I love supporting my friends. I love supporting the people around me, and I'll do anything to make sure that they succeed, because my success is coming from my energy, my work, and it's kind of like I'm focused on my own lane, and I know that they support me just as much. And also like our goals are really different as well. Yeah. Like I love the writing aspect, and I'm releasing songs to, you know, express myself creatively, but I think like my ultimate goal is completely different to what Lisi's goal is, and I sense that for a lot of artists. So I'm always going to do my best for whoever I work with. I'll never like reserve like my talents just because I'm like, oh no, if I do that with them, then
yeah. And this is gonna sound like I asked as a trick question, and the reason why I ask, trust me, I plan these things. I'm alright at what I do. It's because you featured in the Complex on a feature on you, which is amazing. Round of applause.
Thank you.
And you said, I don't care about global fame. I care about my art, my music, and making an impact with a purpose.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty much spot on of what you've been explaining.
Yeah.
And
that was a couple years ago.
That's what I mean. So so has the vision always been more on the songwriting thing? Obviously, you want to be an artist in your own right, but I guess as an artist, and especially in this day and age, you know, when you hear about people talking about how artists make money, and it's always that same story. Like, I'm in a band, and it's always about, you know, festivals and touring and merch, and there's not really much money in the actual music. But when we talk about syncs and publishing and writing for other people,
music there.
There's money there. Do you know what I mean? So is that why? Obviously, that's one of your passions, but is it like also like a business strategy that you think, you know, I have these numerous strings to my bow and numerous talents, I want to be sustainable in this music industry. So is it a thing where, you know, you can make money from these other avenues, and then you can independently release and sustain yourself without dealing with, I don't know, a major, for example?
I mean, I think, like, you know, as much as I do still stand to what I said in that Complex article, like, I think if you're doing it for the purpose of being famous, then I think there's always going to be a part of you that's unsatisfied and frustrated with the process, whereas I've learned to really focus and enjoy the process of everything. And fame is very fleeting. So if I'm not doing it for the love and for the passion, then there's not really like any point. But at the same time, like, when you enter music, you have to enter it in a business mindset as well. Like, it is a business, and part of like my sync and stuff, as much as I'm passionate about it, like, I have a kid I have to support, like I have a life I have to maintain. So yeah, like I'm aware of like where the income comes from, but it's not the main thing that drives me, you know, like money comes, money goes, and I'm just here to enjoy the ride.
No, very true. It's the energy that comes and goes.
I'm aware of everything. And I do think about these things, but yeah, like I have multiple avenues of where I can express my creativity and where I can focus like different like time and stuff, and then just see what works out really, but enjoy the process mainly.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, got another one, right? And this is an artist I don't actually know, Hota Dog Sele, and you wrote a song called Rika, or worked with him on a song called Rika.
J-Dog. Yeah.
So I didn't really know much about this artist until very recently, when I was kind of researching the bits that you've done. And that one's interesting to me because he's a vocalist. There's definitely melody in his stuff, but also I've heard other stuff where he's doing much more rap.
Yeah.
And working with an artist that's, I guess, sonically different to what you do in your own music.
Yep.
How did that challenge differ from, I guess, working with another vocalist like Lisi or whoever else?
Yeah, I mean, I think like whenever I enter into a session, like I want to understand the artist, so I separate time to talk to them, what they want to do, if there's a particular message that they want to get out, what genre. And it's a learning experience for me as well, because I have to challenge myself to write in as many genres as I can. And I love developing myself in that way. But yeah, writing for like Lisi and J-Dog and like they're all completely different, and I have to like understand. But also I think people work with me because I have a certain like touch to my sound, I guess, that they want to bring into their music as well. But yeah, you have to, as a writer, you have to be completely adaptable to whoever you're working with. And working with J-Dog, that was one of my first, I guess, official experiences.
Fair.
And that one was funny because the producer, Delaquiz, he was like, Katie, like, we're struggling with this song. Is there anything that you can come up with? And he sent me it on a voice note. And literally 3 minutes later, I just sent him like a improvised voice note, like in a man's voice. And I was like, does this work? And he was like, perfect. And then we got into the studio the next day. And
crazy. I guess you got to do like some wild demos sometimes. Like I've
honestly,
sent a
if
few.
I played it, it's so bad. Like, oh my gosh, it's so bad. But
it's an idea, isn't it? And it has to start somewhere.
Exactly.
So obviously you talk about your experience, and from what I'm hearing, mostly they've been, you know, it's hard work, but they've been quite positive. And I ask this question a lot to artists, like, you know, usually I ask what is the most challenging thing in the business. I guess I'm going to ask you that same question, but I'm going to ask it in terms of, have you ever, and you might have not had that session, but believe me, you will. Have you had a session yet with an artist where it's like, yeah, this ain't it, like respect their craft and whatnot, but like I can't, whatever reason it is, you just can't, the workflows or the means of working is just not compatible with how you work. And rather than trying to force it and probably making something you're not happy with, because you know, if you want your name by everything you stand for. Do you know what I mean? How do you deal with those situations? And what advice would you give to? Because I speak to a bunch of artists that go through these sort of things, whether it's session musicians, whether it's producers, whether it's someone in their team. How do you deal with those situations when they are challenging?
Yeah, gosh, what a tough question. I think like one thing that's super important is just as open communication as possible, like with wherever you are, in the most respectful way. Like you said, you can respect someone's artistry, but if it's not for you, if it's not working for you, if you haven't signed a contract, like you can always like take a step back and be like, listen, like I think for the good of the project, it's best that I'm not here. Or like one time I had to refer someone to someone else because I started writing for them, but I was the sole writer and it wasn't my strongest suit for that genre. So I was like, I wrote what I could, and then I was like, listen, I think it will be beneficial to bring in another writer to this, so this is who I recommend. And then I'd sent them like 2 or 3 writers, and they then contacted them, and then we were able to finish the song together. But I was like, I struggled too,
of course.
And yeah, no, there was an instance with an artist who, you know, they weren't treating me how I would necessarily like want to be treated in that space. But I just took a minute, took a breather, and, you know, like at the end of the day, we all want one thing, which is like a good song, a good outcome. Yeah,
I can understand that.
Yeah, open communication all the way.
I guess for an artist to trust a group of people or someone like yourself with their music, I guess you will get some people that kind of have that mentality like, it's your job to do this. So I guess the respect kind of goes away in that aspect. But okay, who knew that songwriting was like relationships? Mad. But yeah, that was like relationship counseling and songwriting counseling one. But yes, this is D-Kel with Rika.
Dale. Y dime que lo que, mami. Si no tienes pa' beber, pues yo tengo aquí. Estoy lleno de mujer, pero estoy pa' ti. Siempre estoy pa' ti, si tú estás pa' mí. Y dime que lo que, mami. Si no tienes pa' beber, pues yo tengo aquí. Estoy lleno de mujer, pero estoy pa' ti. Siempre estoy pa' ti, si tú estás pa' mí. Porque está rica, está rica, está rica. Todo el mundo la necesita. Si está rica, está rica, está rica. Todo el tiempo pa' ti eres mía, bebé. Está rica, está rica. Todo el mundo la necesita. Si está rica, está rica, está rica. Todo el tiempo pa' ti eres mía, bebé. Se la clavo lo lerón cuando abre las piernas los Jordan. Soy ese gordito, pero mis bolsillos engordan. Soy ese chileno que tu novia se menciona. Soy el rey del norte, el rey de toda mi zona. Flight arriba, la mano en la pistola. Flight arriba, la mano en la pistola. El gatillo sin tirar no se me dobla. Mami, ven aquí porque no te controla. Él no te controla. Yo no te dejo sola. Metamos otra copa. En la noche derretir la ropa. Lo que, mami. Si no tienes pa' beber, pues yo tengo aquí. Estoy lleno de mujer, pero estoy pa' ti. Siempre estoy pa' ti, si tú estás pa' mí. Y dime que lo que, mami. Si no tienes pa' beber, pues yo tengo aquí. Estoy lleno de mujer, pero estoy pa' ti. Siempre estoy pa' ti, si tú estás pa' mí. Porque está rica, está rica, está rica. Todo el mundo la necesita. Si está rica, está rica, está rica. Todo el tiempo pa' ti eres mía, bebé.
Yes, people, myself, D-Kel voice is real, the club of vibes. That was J-Kel with Rika, and I'm back with Katie Cruz, who worked on that one. Yes.
Hello.
So music aside, it's not music aside, it's basically who you are, it's a huge part of you. But music aside for the moment, I didn't know that you worked on some creative direction stuff for a few artists. So one of the artists I was going to play today is, and I always get this name wrong, so I'm trying to read it from here, JSCA Music. Is that how you say her name?
Yes, JSCA.
Yes, it is. Because I was thinking, is it Jessica? Is it anagram? I don't know, but I'm glad I got it right. But one of my favourite songs from that project is Ducati, which I'm going to play later. That EP, how did that come about, and what is creative direction for people that have never heard of it, or they hear creative director and they're like, it sounds good, but I don't know?
Yeah, it is a bit of a weird one to explain, and I think it is a bit different in different settings as well. So I have like a background in like PR and advertising, marketing and all of that. And I've figured out like my route within creative direction there. So I think a creative director is basically someone who sees a project from beginning to end and how it's going to look holistically in terms of like conception, ideation, art, design, like everything, it coming together. For Jessica or JSCA, like that particular project, I only really worked for the art cover as creative director. Everything else was completely
fair.
her. But yeah, no, I like I said, I can't just stick to one thing. Like I have to try and do as much as I can. All of my stuff is, you know, like I'll be the creative director for everything that I do. Me and Lisi collabed as creative director for D-Kel. But yeah, it's pretty much like you just see I think that's how I would explain it. Someone who just sees everything holistically and decides on a direction and sort of is like making sure that at each step of the process, everyone who's working on that project knows what's happening or knows what the outcome is supposed to be, look like, sound like, everything. Yeah, I think we did a great job.
It's interesting because I do see, I think you said it earlier that, you know, people invite you to be part of their project because they kind of want your touch on it. And either I'm listening to something that you've been part of, or even as a visual, like a cover, I can kind of see there's a coherent flow. Like I can tell. Obviously, I know you've been involved, but it makes sense. Like if someone said to me, "You've been involved," it's like, yeah, these things don't correlate, but I can actually see like there is a bit of you.
Oh,
like, do you know what I mean?
That's so nice. Thank you.
So that is interesting to see, and I think that's a talent in itself. And
thank you.
Especially because it's in those situations, I don't think there's many people that they might have a lot of ideas, but I think when the final product comes out, it's sometimes it's hard for a person to have a say.
Yeah.
Because there's so many cooks in the kitchen and there's so much happening and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's really interesting. Okay, I'm going to play Jessica Music, Ducati. If you haven't listened to the EP, check it out. It's got a visual for every song, solid one. And then I'm excited because we're going to get into your brand new single slowly and have a chat about that.
En una Ducati me encuentro yo, serpiente en la selva, tengo veneno. El viento me corta como un cuchillo bajo mi visera y acelero entre las montañas. Encuentro mi asilo perdida. Yo estaba
Yes, People Voices Radio, myself, D-Kel. I'm here with Katie Cruz.
Hello.
We're all smiles in the studio, which is what I like to see. So yeah, obviously the reason why I think we've taken a while to have you on is because I'm always a person that's like, and maybe I need to change it a bit because like with individuals like yourself where you do so much, and I'm always like, oh, well, if you've got no new music, then I don't really know what to talk to you about. But I'm glad you're here because you have got new music. And yeah, talk to me about Slowly because yeah, it's a great track. It reminds me of like an old school kind of, like it's like a funky house song, but like
It's hard to describe the genre, isn't it?
like very well written. So it's not like a
thanks.
funky house song that's like in the ravers and then like no one remembers it after a few years. It's like a very well put together piece of art.
Oh.
But the production does remind me of like that soulful house kind of funky house kind of vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. So firstly, why that song? Yeah.
Why I wrote it? Why I released it? Why?
Yeah, so why did you write it? Why did you go sonically with that?
Right, okay.
Just because, not the easy thing, because I've got a man what I say I'm just going to offend bare people, but like, I guess the default option would be, right, I'm going to do like, put a dembo on it,
Right.
and we're going to do a Romantic Girl or something, which is nothing wrong with that. It still would have been a great song, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think it's quite nice because when you think of house music, it's so prominent in the UK.
Yeah.
And for me, I didn't really expect that. So it was interesting for me to hear that from you.
Oh,
so,
amazing. I'm glad
yeah,
that
so
you
why,
inspired.
so firstly, yeah, why that song? How did the song come about in terms of like the writing of it?
Yeah. I think something with my sound that I've always wanted to try is like figure out that path to blend, you know, my Colombian side and my UK side. And I didn't go into it intentionally being like, I'm going to write some sort of house genre song. A producer, I think, sent me that beat. And for me, like, I have to really connect with something to be able to write. And when I do, I start like just improvising melodies and lyrics immediately. Like I can easily be like, yes beat, no beat, like next, you know? And when he sent me that one, it was sent kind of at like the perfect time because I was going through a situation and I was able to just naturally write. And I had a performance coming up. It was like a Tuesday and I had a performance coming up on a Saturday. And I was like, I don't have any new songs that I want to like sing. And then I remembered that and I was like, let me just write a new one.
Yeah.
Sat down, wrote slowly in like 40 minutes.
Mad.
Like when I feel something, like it will just come out naturally. So yeah, that one was done and there wasn't really like any sort of set intention. It was just kind of like I needed to express myself creatively.
Yeah.
And then slowly.
No, I understand that. I think some of the best songs are written in a short space of time. And when you listen to something and it hits you, it's like, we'll run with this. But it's interesting because I would have thought because you're in the studio so much with so many different artists and producers, I find it quite ironic that someone just sent you a beat and you was like, yeah, we're good to go. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would have thought you'd be like, no, we got to go to the studio and like start. You know what I mean? Every song's different, but that's quite surprising because I would have thought you said, no, you know, me and whoever producer got in the studio, we started working together, building, you know, beat by beat and changing this and changing that.
I try. I mean, I think it's like because, you know, I have such a busy lifestyle. Like I'm very busy and I have like my own little sacred studio space at home. Like it's a very tiny setup, but if I'm inspired or I need to be inspired, like I need to sit down and have my moments. So if someone sends me something or I hear something that I want to record to, I'll sit down immediately and do it. So I did it then. I recorded the demo and then afterwards I took it to another producer to be like, to record my vocals like properly. Literally the day after I was like, cool, I've got the demo and then let's go.
And I guess the producer obviously sent it to you because he thought he made it and he heard like, oh, there's something in here that you would like.
He's an 18, I don't know if he's still 18, but he's an 18-year-old producer from here in the UK.
Crazy.
And like,
what's his name?
Seb J. Law.
Fair.
Yeah. And then I have my other producer who makes.
That's how you know he's a young producer. Like, he ain't even thought about producing. He was like, nah, I just make beats, bro. That's crazy. But yeah, pick up him.
He's so talented.
Yeah, killed it on that one.
He was really, really good to work with. And then my other producer, SB producer, mixed the vocals and recorded the vocals as well.
Amazing. And we got the music video coming out this Friday.
We do. I'm super excited. I did that with the same production team that did Dímelo and Gao. Gao's, what was that? Gabriel, official. Gabriel. They did his, what was his? Cabron, yeah, they did his one. And yeah, it was an incredible experience. Really incredible production. And yeah, it's incredible to see like my idea just kind of being
especially because it's
life.
Been a while, and I guess
it's been such a long time. So I'm glad that I'm finally like putting something out. Just at this point, like I was always waiting for like the right time to do it. The right time, like, you know, I'm focusing so much on writing for other people. When is the right time? And then this year I was just kind of like, I've got so much stuff. Let me just start. Let me just put it out there. And like, you know, I just want my catalog of music now, like to my name. I have like no expectations. I'm just letting it be. If people like it, then they like it. But at least I've put it out there. You know?
I hear that, and I think it's a nice moment because like you said, it's not like you've been absent, you've been creative and working on numerous projects. But there's nothing like your own baby that you know what I mean. You're putting out there. So yes, this is Katie Cruz with Slowly.
Ya que estás aquí no hace falta de nada. How about you take it slowly? Sito para mí, para mí.
Yes, people, myself, D-Kel. This has been the Club of Vibes, Voices Radio. That was Cruz with our latest single, Slowly. Video out on Friday.
Yes.
Exciting times. Katie, I always say this to my guests, but it's never enough. It's never enough time. But it's good. It's another reason to get you on next time. You know what I mean? Chop it up again to hear, you know, what else is exciting when you got some new stuff coming on, or yeah, man. Any last words? You know, we got the music video coming, but what we got coming?
What do I have coming?
What can you say? Because like I don't even know what you can say or not.
You know what? I have so much like that I'm wanting to do. I'm just waiting for the right. Like, no, I'm not. I'm not waiting for the right moment to do it. I'm just gonna do it this year. So keep your eyes peeled. Like that's what's gonna happen. Yeah, more music, more visuals, more love, more light. Make sure you go stream Slowly and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Katie Cruz, and follow me on everything. And yeah, keep your eyes out for the video. I'm super excited.
Amazing. Well, it's been a pleasure, Katie.
Thank you
Good
so
luck with the
much.
release.
Thank you.
Enjoy it. We're going out with this one. Next up, you got Darker. I can see you trying to get in. What's good, brother? This is Cruz with Adicto and Julie.
Yeah, yeah. Ya no sé qué me pasa. Me la paso pensando en